This is Smama for Summer. Roll one, take one. Hi, my name is Smama, born Sindile Smama from Makanda, which is formerly known as Grahamstown. But I grew up in Gqeberha, formerly known as Port Elizabeth. Everything is changing, eh? Sindile Smama to Smama, Grahamstown to Makanda, Port Elizabeth to Gqeberha. Yeah, I guess that's what life is about, eh? Changes, and we have to embrace those. I think, yeah, when it comes to music, it's always been a part of me. I've always known that I can sing. And I've always thought that I would want to one day take this professionally and do it professionally. But I never really knew how to go about achieving those dreams. Because I'm from Port Elizabeth, as I said. There weren't that many people that were in the limelight. So I just knew people that were singing radio, but I never knew that I could also make it and be like have my music playing in radio. So I grew up. I was in a church choir, school choir. Then I went to UCT. That's when now things started shaping up because now I could engage with people that were actually studying music and they had much more knowledge about music and what channels to go through if you want to now be a professional singer. And I worked with some guys, Abo Nelson Mangani, he's got his own vocal academy now, Paul. So I worked with these guys, we formed a band. It was a gospel band, it was named after myself, it was called Smama. I'm a songwriter, so I used to write most of the songs there and would also do like your hymns because, you know, with gospel, people who want songs that they are familiar with. So I would do hymns and also do my original compositions and would perform around the campus and also like at the townships in Cape Town. And I think that's where now I started building confidence like in my singing and also being on stage. And what happened next was, I had a friend of mine knew Ringo Madlingos. So, and she knew that I wanted to sing. So like, no, I'm gonna link you up with Ringo. And fast forward a few months later, I got to meet Ringo here in Johannesburg. I came here for the holidays. Then got to meet Ringo. I had a demo in hand. And it was the time where like you had your demo in hand, you had to record something. It's either like your tape or your CD, but have something that you can present and somebody can tell if you can make it or not, or if you sound like a person that has got potential. So I met up with him and he loved it. He loved it. He's like, no, yeah. And this was the time when Lundi was big, Temikosi was big. So he introduced me to CCP Records, EMI CCP. And we met up with Mike Maswangani and he also loved the demo and was like, I know, we're ready to sign you up. But then Ringo came back and was like, you know what, Mama, you're already doing medicine, you've pushed this far. I think I was already like doing my fourth year at the time. And I was willing to like sacrifice it all because I wanted to be a musician, be big, be everything, you know, fame and fortune. But yeah, but he says, you know what, you like almost done with your studies. Just finish this up because, you know, music is not as viable as you guys think. You know, the glam is nice, the fame is nice, but there are some downsides to it. At least have something that you can always fall back into if things don't go your way. And if you still feel strongly enough about music, you can always go back, or actually continue with it after you finished your studies. And I think fortunately for me, I was not like a hard-headed kind of a boy, so I agreed and like, okay, no, good, yeah, I'll do that. And I finished my studies. Came to Joburg, and another friend of mine now knew somebody that knew Ulundi, and Ulundi like was a big guy at the time, you know, he was huge. Every young boy that wanted to sing wanted to be Ulundi. So for me to be introduced to him was something huge. I was like, okay, I want to work with this guy. And we were introduced and he welcomed me, and I had a song that I had written. I played it for him and he was like, oh, it's a nice song. And that was it. But then a friendship developed and the music took a backseat. Only 2 years later, then he recorded the music, the song that I had presented to him. And that song actually happened to make it to the Crowns and it was nominated for the best traditional gospel song. In that year, it was 2009 back then. I met Nhlanhla for the very first time, at Carlton Center, at the McDonald's in Carlton Center. I always tease her about this. Mama Fikizolo was still, they still had Iloto as a big song at the time, but they were still not that big, but yeah, big enough. She went there like wearing her shades and ispoti, trying to disguise a bit. So also she was welcoming, you know, which I'm grateful for because somebody who's already made it and they're welcoming you into their space as a person who's still trying to find their feet. It's something to be there to be commended for. And so Nkanta also gave me some pointers to say, okay, this is what you need to do and to try and get into the space. She didn't have a record company, so she was not going to sign me up, but she just gave me advice, good advice. And that's why to this day, I still hold those two people, Ringo and Nkanta, actually three people, and Lundi of high regard, you see. So for a while, I just parked the whole singing thing. For me, it was just about now writing the music. So I wrote for Berita, I wrote for Tembisinendaga, I wrote for Unokwazi, Tulani, he was featuring Putuma in the song, Nazania. And I must say I'm quite proud of those projects because I mean the songs were beautiful and they still are. It's one of those, for me, they proved to me that this songwriting thing, I'm on the right path with it. It's not just me trying something that I'm not good at, because I really would not want to put anything out there that is just mediocre. So having those big artists doing the music and it being good projects, it just sealed it for me. Like, okay, so you are a songwriter, do not doubt yourself. And I think that's why now, even with my album, I got to write all the songs because I have that confidence in my songwriting. And so coming to me now, releasing the album or the project Isipho, this one was also one of those where the universe just decided that, you know what, dude, you've been running away from music, now we're gonna like pull you back in and hard at it. So this is about 2 years ago. I'm having a party, it's my birthday, I invite Uzuko SA to come and perform. So he comes before the time he's due to perform. So I'd prepared like some set for my friends. He's there in the audience, he listens to me sing. I'm not even thinking that he's actually like listening attentively. I think that he's just waiting for his set. A few days later he calls me and like, no dude man, let's go to studio. I heard you sing, I think we can work something out with you. And that's how Isipho was birthed. So we did a single called Isikalo, which was for me was like the beginning because I felt like this is the beginning for me because I feel like I'm ready. It's no longer just me doing it because it's something I can do. It's me doing it because it's something I want to do and I feel strongly about. And I call the song Isikalo, but it's a love song. And then a year later, I then released a full album, 7-track album. It's called Isipho because I named it Isipho. It's a gift. And I felt that I'm giving the audience myself, like my authentic self. Because the songs are love songs and they speak about my experiences in love. And there are also some songs that are songs of encouragement and hope. And it's songs that I had written for myself. Like when I was going through certain things, then I would like pen it down and say, okay, you know what? Tandaza when you're going through these situations. And you know, sometimes when you are that authentic with your writing, then it speaks to the next person. Because now it's not like you were just trying to finish a song up. People can always pick up authenticity in your music, which I think is always important for any artist, that do not write because you need to release an album. Write because it's the story that matters to you or maybe to somebody else, because we can't live through everything, but we live amongst people, we see people going through experiences, and we can then draw from these experiences and write something about those experiences that can be authentic. This actually takes me back to the song I wrote for Tembisile, which was called Andazindo. Because I'd never lived in a village, but I've had friends that lived in villages where people were killed because the grandmothers were killed because they were thought to be abathakati. So the song was inspired by those stories from my friends, and I wrote it as authentically as I could because I could feel their pain when they were telling the stories. So I had to channel that pain into that song, and then when you listen to it, you can actually think I actually lived through the process. I've had a person being killed in that manner. So after releasing Isipho, for me the next step was to release a music video because this was just part of my marketing. So I decided to do a video for Ganga Umoya because I felt strongly about the song. It meant so much to me. And it's a very short song, but the message is so powerful. So I felt this is the song that I would use to push this album because everybody can relate to the song. And to my surprise, I mean, hardly a month after the music video came out, it was nominated for Eminent Video Music Awards and I actually won that award. And 2 months later, got nominated again for the same music video in the Music on the Hill Awards, and I got to win 2 awards there. So for me, this is validation, which, okay, dude, I think now it is the time. Everybody's starting to notice your work. It means you're doing things proper now. The energy that you're putting behind the music, it's showing. Because I think when you lack passion, then you're not going to achieve much. The more you put in, the more you get out of it. Because people now can feel good, okay, this person is just not here to play. Because I think when I first released my first single, I'm a medical doctor, so people thought, no, this is a hobby. This guy is just doing this thing because he can. You know, he can just put money there and then things happen. But then I released the second single and they're like, okay, now he's serious. And now it was a full album, like, oh yeah, he's here to stay. And then there's a music video, and then there's another music video, so now everybody's starting to take me seriously, to say, okay, yeah, we think he's here, he's doing this genuinely and for real, and he loves it. And for me, I think that was the turning point, when people started seeing how serious I was, or I am, about the project, and also them taking note and giving me the validation that I need. Because sometimes we think we don't need external validation, but we do. Because as much as sometimes you try and pump yourself up, your energies do go low. And when you get that external validation, it kind of lifts you up to say, okay, yeah, no, you're just in a slump now, but it doesn't mean it's the end of the day. Things are going to get better. So that helped me in a way to say, okay, because I mean, it's a tough industry, guys. I'm not going to lie to you. It doesn't matter who you are. And the thing is, if you're on your own, you would think it's your own struggle, you're the only one that's going through this. But everybody goes through these struggles from time to time, but people don't talk about them. I mean, you deal with your own pain and then you come out shining and laughing and be like, no, it was easy, you know, I released and I got nominated, I got all these awards. But the work that goes behind that and the pain that goes behind that is a lot. And you need to be mentally strong, you need to be emotionally strong, you need to be psychologically strong. You need to love this enough to know that you can withstand everything that comes with it.